Hello there, projectors. Today I'm going to be sharing about a very important topic, and that is boundaries. So what is a boundary? A boundary is something that's defined that on one side is something and on another side is something else. So we know where we are in relationship to our mind, our emotions, space, time, our physical body. And we know what isn't us as well. But we can get enmeshed as projectors very easily. So this is something that I want to talk today about because I feel like it's a very, very important topic. So to have a boundary, you obviously need to know, well, what do I need? And then have that actually come into reality. Often that will be through some form of communication. So unless we know what we need, we won't have the ability to have a boundary. And unless we know how we feel, we won't fully know what we need a lot of the time. Now, as projectors growing up, because of our open and more so absorbing aura that is, we can penetrate, yes, but we can also be penetrated. So we're so porous with our energetic system, creates a lot of sensitivity. And because we grow up in a world that is more of a generator world, and most people are generators, so they just think that everyone feels like them. And when someone, energetically says something to them, they maybe don't feel so much. So they do, oh, well, I can do that to you. But then to a projector, it's like, whoa, like that is, I'm really sensitive. Like my energy feels really depleted right now, or my energy feels really bitter right now. There's a lot happening in my internal environment because projectors are so open. So if you are feeling bitter, even sometimes frustrated or resentful, the most common will be bitterness though. This often means that your boundaries have been broken. Now, this doesn't mean that the person who you're with or something that's happening outside of yourself is doing this to you, because that's more of a victim state. Yes, they might have their own issues with boundaries, and theirs might be the opposite. They might be more of a boundary crosser in a way. But it's ultimately our responsibility to take care of our boundaries, to implement our boundaries, to hold our boundaries, so people can actually begin to respect our boundaries. But if you're already feeling bitter, agitated, frustrated, resentful, it means that you've already crossed your boundaries, that your boundaries have already been penetrated, and most likely multiple times for you to actually feel like, wow, I'm bitter right now, or I'm agitated, or I'm frustrated. So you allowed it to get already too far down the road. So this is why we want to get really good at feeling, because we can get in touch with the subtleties of like, oh, I actually need some alone time right now. Or actually, I don't want to be in this conversation right now. Or actually, this is not the environment for me in this moment. It's because it's a subtle feeling. It could be an intuition. It could be a little tension in the shoulders. It could be shortness of breath. However it shows up for you. But the more in tune you are with your emotions, the more in tune you'll be with your needs. Now, the opposite of this, if you're not so in tune with your emotions, often your boundaries will be crossed, or you won't know what you need, and then you'll go about getting what you need in a very roundabout way that sort of subconsciously manipulates the situation, rather than you just knowing, hey, this is what I need, and I'm communicating that. Is that that's something that you can do? If not, okay, cool, like that's fine. Maybe I'll have to go to someone else and ask them, or maybe I'll have to provide that need to myself. There's many different ways to go about it, but if you're not in touch with your emotions, your needs, the most common emotion that will come out very strongly is going to be anger, because anger is a forceful energy that goes back off. It's like a and it's a very strong energy, and it's a protective energy. Now, ideally, we can allow ourselves to go to those spaces, but that is a light bulb moment for a projector, being like, okay, I'm here. I've crossed my boundary too many times. Okay, let me feel into my body. Let me feel what's going on. Let me feel, what do I need in this moment? Can I provide those needs to myself for first and foremost? If not, can I communicate that in not an angry way? Can I come back into harmony within myself and then communicate that? It's quite an art to have boundaries as projectors, but it can be a totally transformational experience for sure. Also know that no one can tell you what your boundary is. I'll say that again. No one can tell you what your boundary is. That's for your heart, that's for your breath, that's for your intuition, your soul, your body to know. And sometimes you might need to begin with a little bit bigger boundaries until you come into balance more, and then you can loosen them a little bit. You know, you'll need to gauge that yourself. But no one tells you what your boundary is. You get in touch with your inner world, and then you discover, that's what I need. Okay, I'm going to communicate that. So I know this is a lot of information coming through, and it might also be activating a little bit for people, because you may have realized, wow, I haven't lived my life with so many boundaries, or wow, I am angry, I am bitter. So let's just take a pause. Very important for projectors to always take a pause and just take a breath. Inhale. And then exhaling, and let it all go. Let the tension go. Just allowing that information from the mind to integrate into the body through the breath. And as I said, boundaries are a sensitive thing. Boundaries can be challenging for sure for projectors, because we feel into the other so much, and often we want to take care of the other. So emotionally, we don't want to have a boundary because it might impact the other. But ultimately, if we don't create that boundary for ourselves, first and foremost, we're not serving our truth. And also, we're not serving the other person's truth. We're not giving them an opportunity to also find their center, to also find clarity within themselves, first and foremost. So briefly, there's different types of boundaries, so you can start to explore these. There's obviously physical boundaries, like who's around you. There is mental boundaries, like what thoughts are you allowing? Are you personally allowing into your space through your own mind? And then what thoughts are you allowing other people to speak around you? There's emotional boundaries. So that's also feeling into your emotions, feeling into other people's emotions, and knowing, this is not conducive for me at this time emotionally. So potentially taking some time. There's also spiritual boundaries. So this can be not so much religious, but if you're in a moment, if you're connected to the creator or source or God, or you've been meditating and you notice that there's some energy that's sort of coming in, could be from someone or not from someone, a boundary around that, a boundary so you can protect that sacredness within yourself as well. So you can have those spiritual boundaries as well. And then a big one is going to be time boundaries. So this is sticking to a timing of things, like when you say you're going to arrive. When you say to yourself, I'm going to do yoga at 8 a.m. Have that boundary with yourself. Having boundaries will strengthen your groundedness, strengthen your empowerment, your embodiment. So time boundaries are really important as well. Also, if you go to a party, if you go to a dinner party, know that, oh wow, like I know that my capacity might be to stay for 2 hours. So honor that capacity. You don't need to override your own capacity to stay there for 3, 4, 5 hours, come home, be totally depleted, be bitter, be resentful. You can honor those time boundaries to strengthen your core. So having boundaries in this way is a lot about self-love as well, like caring for yourself, listening to yourself, and then taking care of yourself in this physical reality, because as projectors, having such an open, porous energy, we can literally be like a leaf in the wind. And the wind is everyone else. The wind is society. The wind is beliefs. The wind is the government, is family, friends, partners. And we're like a leaf, and the wind is strong. So if we don't have boundaries around that, then that can be, we could end up in some totally different direction, spot than we actually had our intention on moving in. So we want to become more like a boat. So we can actually be going in that direction. And yes, the wind does affect us as projectors, but we want to get a strong boat so we can at least go in the direction rather than the wind taking us in the opposite direction, as a leaf, for example. So we want to strengthen our inner world, strengthen our connection to our emotions. This is where it all starts. And talking about this is where it all starts. If you want to truly strengthen your energy and have solid boundaries and have your energy as a projector coming out into the world, because there's going to be a lot of energy coming towards you, so you can meet that energy. The first part of the day, when you wake up, the first 30 minutes, what are you doing? Are you turning on your phone? If you're turning on your phone and receiving Instagram, receiving messages, you've straight away started the day off like a leaf, and you're like, yes, Creator, God, I am a leaf today, and I will look at my phone, and please pull me in any direction, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And then if you've got other people around you, yes, please just pull me in any direction. Or are you waking up at the time that you set yourself? Are you taking those first 30 to 60 minutes to cultivate your own energy, your own frequency? So then when you do turn your phone on, when you do speak to someone, you feel empowered. You're moving out into the world from your spine, from your heart, from your pelvis. There's that strength, and you're moving out into the world, and you're meeting the world in that way. And there's obviously many ways you can begin the day. You could do some yoga, you could do some affirmations, mantras, you could do a meditation, you could walk out in nature, you could touch the feet on the ground, you could have a cold shower, all these different things. And then from that start of the day, at least have an understanding, an idea of, what are my time boundaries? Where am I at throughout the day? So you can, because the projector energy can be very fluid naturally. Sometimes the mind will overcompensate and really clamp down, so we can become quite stagnant, constricted, because of the fear of the world or surviving and these things. But if we can understand, yeah, there's fluidity, but can we also have structure so we can move through, our feminine energy can move through the masculine structure. This will hold your projector energy, create more fulfillment and empowerment within yourself, so you can move out into the world with these stronger, firmer boundaries. So I hope this video helped. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment any questions you might have below, or comment about your experience with your own boundaries as well. And if you like what we're doing here at the Projector Movement, we do have different offerings and experiences at www.projectormovement.com. Wishing you a beautiful day and night, and until next time, have a blessed journey. Bye for now.